And I will tell you, Koya, the game changer came when he said, I will not bless this until you remove this person. And I can tell you, as God is my witness, the day that I told her, you no longer work for this particular project,
Hi, I'm Koya Webb, and welcome back to the Lifestyle Design Podcast. I have an incredible guest for you. She is the epitome of self-care, sisterhood, and knowing how to shine in the darkness. Dr. Cheryl, welcome.
Thank you, my sister. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
You know, you captured my heart on a Delta flight, and you didn't even know it, but you produced this incredible film about a sorority, about your sorority.
Yes.
And my mom is a Delta, right? And even though it wasn't about that sorority, I was so captivated by your beautiful way of really capturing sisterhood. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey to where you are today and how sisterhood really uplifted you?
Absolutely. So I have actually been an entrepreneur for most of my life, but getting to where I am right now started 10 years ago when my husband was diagnosed with cancer. Thank goodness he's cancer-free. My mother-in-law passed away from cancer, and then I got diagnosed with supraventricular tachycardia, which is a heart. Yes.
What is that?
It's a heart condition where your heart misfires. And so what happens is it beats out a rhythm. And once it keeps doing that on a consistent basis, it will beat so much that you can die.
Wow.
So I actually had 2 heart ablations, but I'll tell you the power of that diagnosis, because I wrote down every day that I will not be on heart medication. I will not be on a heart monitor. And I said it every day. And as I sit here with you today, I'm not on heart medication or a heart monitor. But that goes towards your question of how did I get here? During that time, I was in bed. I was in a very dark place because it was too many things going on. And I like to say a dark place because it's the truth. Yeah. Some of us, we want to look good on the outside when everything is in turmoil on the inside. And so I like to address that because I want people to see I didn't get here by not having some type of struggle or difficult time or what have you, but I'm here now and I'm thriving. So I began to write affirmations over myself. You are worthy. You are intentional. You are loved. You are very necessary. You receive preferential treatment. I receive God-inspired ideas that produce millions of dollars. I started saying that to myself. And then one day it was just divine. It's like, post this out on social media because surely I felt like I'm not by myself. Now that I always knew, it's not just me. So I began to post those out on social media, and thousands of people started getting in contact with me through inbox, through Messenger. And then one day I was in the shower and I heard the Holy Spirit say, hey, it's time for you to write a book. And I said, well, where's the book? And very clearly, go out on social media and pull everything that I've given you over the past 18 months. And that became volume 1 of the Affirm book.
This one.
That one is volume 2, actually. Wow. Volume 1 came out 10 years ago. But it came out as the part of relearning how to love me, learning how to say words of affirmation over myself, and realizing that validation is for parking, not for people.
Say it.
And we get caught up in that really easily, right?
Yeah.
We come up with an amazing idea, and then we want to, oh, well, what do you think about it? Do you think it's a great idea?
Yeah.
If you know it's a great idea, move on it. You don't need people's permission to do what you know that you're called and purpose to do. I know I don't.
No.
And I say that boldly, intentionally, and unapologetically. I don't need anybody to endorse a dream that's been placed in my heart. And because I don't need that, Koya, that's why I can sit here with you today, 19 books later, 4 films later, speaking globally. All of that happened because I was willing to say yes to me and to believe in my dreams. And then when I achieved mine, bringing other people along.
Oh, that is just so beautiful. Now y'all see why I love her. But I'm just so mesmerized at your ability not only to be beautiful, like you said, on the inside and outside, to get through all of these health challenges, but you do not miss a beat. You are consistent. You are posting your affirmations every day. And I know it hasn't always been easy. No. You know, I came to hear you speak at Mahogany, and you were talking about sisterhood. Mm-hmm. And we both love sisterhood. We know sisterhood is great, but it's not always great.
No.
Sometimes the people that you pour into and you love and you think you have a good relationship and something else comes out. Can you talk to me a little bit about the darkness you've experienced in sisterhood and how you got through it?
Absolutely. So I have a couple of instances that I can share. One became the pivotal part of my journey where I had somebody really close to me that decided I shouldn't have my husband, my children, or my business. And I had been friends with this person for 13 years. I helped them build their business, helped them keep their doors open when they were about to shut. But once she decided that she wanted everything that I had, it didn't matter. Mm. And so I have to tell you, that took me for a loop because there were many people involved in it that I thought were friends who turned out not to be.
Yes.
And it took me a long time to come back from that, a long time, because some of the closest people to me were involved in the deception.
Yeah.
But what I realized from that, instead of payback and instead of destroying her or allowing the situation to destroy my marriage and my children and my family, I heard God clearly say to me, he said, I will elevate you in the eyes of every person that sought to destroy you. Mm. Get up. He said, I will use you to teach the world true forgiveness in its finest form. Get up. Mm. I want you to realize, Cheryl, that it took a person who was broken as a child in order to do something. And I have to say it because there's no other, so low down to you. But I don't want you to turn against sisters, because for all the people that knew that this one particular sister tried to destroy you, I want them to see that you will never do the same thing to another sister. Mm. So I am going to use you to pray for sisters and not prey on sisters.
That is powerful.
So what I could have allowed to make me evil, to make me unkind, to make me not serve boldly, fiercely, and unapologetically, and help my sisters, it was used to bring me to the place right here, right now, for me to be able to say, I'm going to always love another sister, that I will not be the cause of another sister's tears, that I will not interfere in another sister's marriage, that I will make sure that I pay sisters what they deserve to be paid and not look for a hookup because it's a sister.
Mm. Now that's sisterhood.
That's what we should be doing.
That's sisterhood. That's forgiveness.
Yes.
And that's shining your God light, because at the end of the day, we all make mistakes and
Absolutely.
We all have trauma. But me just hearing you say that, and I know it's emotional because I could feel it, right? It's hurtful, and your ability to still shine your God light, to still do your work, to still live your purpose after you've been betrayed, it is powerful. And there's a lot of people down now listening to this podcast are like, they feel so crushed by the betrayal. Yes. They keep dreaming about like, what did they say or what did they do to make this person do something so low? What would you say to that person listening that feels you right now? Like, I hear you, but I don't know if I can do that. Like, how? How do you get to that point where you can still live your purpose when you feel so hurt inside?
because what I realized that unforgiveness was going to block me from everything that was coming to me. If I stayed in that place where I was crying every day, where I was plotting, because if truth be told, I remember calling my mom one day and I said, Mama, I said, save your money. I said, because you might have to go put some money on my books. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I might get locked up today. I'm just telling you, because it'll take you there. Now, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Some things will take you there, but what I realized was that was going to keep me from getting everything that was promised to me.
Absolutely.
So for every sister that's listening to Koya and I right now, get up.
Get up.
Rise up. Forgive. And first of all, forgive yourself, because you know what happens? When we allow somebody to get that close to us, we're like, how did that happen? How did I allow this person in my house, in my presence, knowing that I saw the signs of the hatred, but I just let it go anyway?
Yeah.
Get up anyway. Yes. Forgive yourself. Forgive them. Because if we don't, we delay our destiny when we focus on payback for somebody who wronged us.
Ashe.
Right?
Yeah.
So the key is, it's in forgiveness. It's in seeing yourself as whole. It's as you have to realize that I have to move on from this.
Yeah.
That we can't stay in this place.
Yes.
Because every single day that we wake up, we have to realize that we have more years behind us than we do ahead of us. Do we want to spend it hating another sister, or do we want to spend it loving ourselves? So for the people who will listen to us, I want to implore you today, get up. Wash your face, get dressed, get out of bed, smile, go be kind to somebody, because I can tell you that's how I learned to serve on a high magnitude, because I realized if I was serving somebody else, I would not stay in this place where I was, because I was caring and loving on somebody else. And when you do that, it comes back to you. It comes back to you. And it's just, we have to do better, Koya, as sisters, because, you know, betrayal is hard to get over. And it's just, it keeps you in a place where you can never live out truly what you're called and purposed to be.
Yeah.
If you stay in that place, right?
I agree, because it's vibrational, right?
Yes.
And so that vibration of unforgiveness, that vibration of, disappointment, and
Yes.
we're not spiritually bypassing, because you do have to address it. You do have to say that hurt, that was
yes.
wrong. But if you keep yourself there and, like you said, end up in jail or do something bad to them, then you're still at that low vibrational point, right? So you can't elevate to those blessings that are waiting for you at your higher vibrational state, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to vibrate higher. As Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you go high.
Absolutely.
Period. It's that easy. And it's not always easy, though. No. And I'll say it's not easy, because I've had those betrayals. I'm like, I gave you money. I poured into you. I did all these, like, why would you do that? And I remember a girl, she's like, I just don't like you. And I said, why? She said, I don't know.
And most of the time, if you think about it, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yes.
But what they come to realize is it really has nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
They don't like themselves. And see, when people don't like themselves, that is a whole nother ball game that has to be addressed. So it has nothing to do with you. And that's what I've realized, that in all the betrayals, even when you and I were talking about the mahogany event and being in the room with somebody who I poured into, gave to their nonprofit, and then they decide, oh, well, I'm going to file a lawsuit against you to get more money. And I'm like, I don't understand. Where is this coming from?
Right.
Where is it coming from? You hire people. When you talk about sisterhood, you hire people. They say, I want the best for you. Sometimes you realize they only want the best for you when you're playing at the same level.
Right.
But when you start to elevate past that level, then it becomes a problem. As sisters, we have to get to the place where we create places, tables, and opportunities for other sisters to win, and then leave that place and go create something else. We don't have to create opportunities and then try to pull it back or fix it where nobody else can win. We have to do better. We have to do better from the empowerment standpoint. Oh, I'm about sisterhood. I'm about empowerment. But we're only empowering one another when we think we can get something from one another.
Right.
We have to get past these transactional sisterhood relationships and really have relationships. Because when you have a true sisterhood in a relationship, it supersedes the transaction.
Right.
The transaction only lasts, oh, I just gave you $50. That's the end of it. But if you have the relationship, we'll be sitting right here having a conversation that is going to change lives of so many different women, because we decided to make a conscious decision that sisterhood was important, that we were going to show up for each other, that you had a platform that you were going to use, and we were going to come together today to show the power of sisterhood and shining through dark places. Just because I was in that dark place never meant that I had to stay, which is why I can sit here so brightly, and I own that. A lady said to me today before I came here, your energy is contagious.
It is.
I make that my business.
Yeah.
Because I'm never going to be one of those people that say, oh, I'm matching energy today. I match no one's energy. I make them elevate up to match my energy. I keep my energy high. So I'm not going to allow people to bring me down because they're feeling down. I am responsible to disrupt the atmosphere with my mere presence. I don't have to say a word. People should feel your energy, that goodness, that kindness, that love when you walk into a room.
And you feel it. I feel it. I hear it in your voice. Like everything about you just exudes the sunlight. You know, you are the sun shining. And a lot of people don't understand when people get sunburned, right? When you get burned by the sun is still good.
Yes.
It is just pulling toxins out of your body, and it burns the top layer of your skin.
Yes.
So you could be mad at the sun, or you could detox your body and be mad at yourself. Because like you said before, when that stuff comes out, when people say, oh, I don't like you, it's because there's something that triggers something that they don't like about themselves.
Absolutely.
Or maybe something that happened in childhood that they haven't resolved.
Yes.
And I felt like that was such a good message, just knowing that when people have trauma, they might have ways of expressing themselves. They might betray people. They might harm people.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
But let's talk about healthy boundaries. Because when people abuse us, we can't let them continue to abuse us.
Yes.
We have to create healthy boundaries. And I had a situation where a woman was staying with me, and I thought she was adorable. We were like cool. And then I started seeing sign after sign after sign, disrespect, and little things, but they kept piling up.
Yes.
And I had a heart-to-heart conversation. I realized that I had put myself into a mothering position, and this woman had a motherhood wound, and I was starting to receive the heat of it.
Yes.
And so how do you create healthy boundaries when you realize that you're in a situation with someone that might have trauma that could be harmful to you?
I have recently had to deal with that same situation. I was in business with someone who I've known for 30 years. And I realized that boundaries were being crossed, that even though it was my ownership of this particular thing, this person had decided and told other people that it was hers. She was in control. They didn't need to check with me on anything. And so I had a conversation, and it came out. It was like, this is mine. I'm the co-owner. I'm the co-founder. And I said, well, co-founders don't get payroll checks.
Right.
We're in the struggle together. And so I realized then, if I don't do something,
it's going to get out of hand.
Because it already was. But I'll tell you what that taught me. From that point forward, I have made a conscious decision when things don't feel good. I don't hang on to people or keep people when they have shown you that this is not working. In the past, I would say, oh, well, how's this person going to pay their bills? How are they going? I cared more about them than they cared about disrespecting me.
Yes.
So I had to come to the place where I loved me enough to say no more. I had to come to the place where I had to decide what's best for my business. Is it best for me to keep this person on just because maybe I felt I couldn't do it without them? But then I realized anything that God has told me to do, I don't need somebody else to do it. He's going to supply everything that I need. And I will tell you, Koya, the game changer came when he said, I will not bless this until you remove this person. And I can tell you, as God is my witness, the day that I told her, you no longer work for this particular project, the doors have opened for me from every person I wanted to say yes to be a part of the magazine, to every podcast, to every opportunity. And it happened because I decided to respect my boundaries.
Are you ready to dive into a world of radiant skin and natural beauty? Our sponsor, Pacifica Skincare, invites you to experience the transformative power of clean, vegan skincare products. Pacifica believes that beauty should be a reflection of your values. That's why they're committed to creating products that are good for your skin and the planet. From nourishing cleansers to rejuvenating serums and everything in between, Pacifica has your skincare needs covered. Say goodbye to the harsh chemicals and hello to glowing, healthy skin. Pacifica has innovative formulas, and each product is carefully crafted using plant-based ingredients, botanical extracts, and powerful antioxidants, ensuring that you get the best nature has to offer. But Pacifica is more than just skincare. It's a celebration of self-expression and individuality with a wide range of products for every skin type and concern. Pacifica empowers you to embrace your unique beauty with confidence. If you're ready to elevate your skincare routine, visit pacificabeauty.com today to explore their collections and discover your new skincare essentials. Plus, enjoy free shipping on orders over 50 and use code KOYA15 for 15% off. Transform your skin and enhance your natural radiance with Pacifica.
So boundaries are important. And I think a lot of times we don't set them, Koya, because we want everybody to like us.
That part.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, I want them to like me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do something that I really don't want to do. Once I realized that me liking me was the most important, that was the game changer for me. So everybody else is extra.
Right.
And people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. If you are in love with yourself, that is the game changer. So I want to encourage everybody. The boundaries will come when you realize that when you say no to people, you can say yes to yourself more, yes to your hopes, yes to your dreams. And that will help you with the boundaries, because if you don't, people don't have them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, 100%.
They don't have them.
They don't have them. And
No.
once you do that, like you said, then your blessings can flow.
Oh, yes.
Because if you're dealing in the low vibration, oh, I can't let this person go because if I let them go, I won't have this, I won't have that, or this won't happen. That's limited.
Absolutely.
Right? That's a lower vibration. But we say, hey, this doesn't feel right.
Yes.
And this person doesn't feel right. And, you know, what did Maya Angelou say? When people show you who they are,
Believe them.
believe them the first time. You know, you're a people pleaser, a people lover. Sometimes you let them get a couple times.
You do.
And that's okay. But there comes to a point where, like you said, you have to realize this person is not good for me right now. And maybe it's just not for the season. Maybe it'll wrap back around. But for right now, you have to acknowledge this is not in alignment.
Absolutely.
Or else you'll keep vibrating at a low frequency. But like you said, as soon as you make that decision, whether it's a season or a reason, or maybe they're out for life, you start to elevate.
It's the truth.
Because you let it go.
Absolutely.
Right? You are honest with yourself. And that's the hard thing. That's the hard thing that we have to do. And that's self-love.
Absolutely.
Self-love is not loving someone else to the detriment of yourself. Self-love is not feeling like you got to do this for them to be loved. You got to give them these investments. You got to keep pouring in to the woman that you were pouring in, even though she showed that she had no respect for your event and what you were doing.
Absolutely.
But you said, no, I'm going to stop now. And I send you love, but I'm going to move on.
Absolutely.
Right? And her biggest loss was not the money. It was you. Because when you have a sister like yourself that is willing to pour and give and support and be there,
Yes.
it's not about the money.
No.
Because there's no limit to abundance in the world. We're all tapped into it if we just allow ourselves to open up to it.
Absolutely.
But when you lose that, that is a true loss, because real sisterhood is not easy to come by.
It really is not. It really is not. And that's why you have to tap in and be kind. When you have it, treat it as such.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come that often. I've heard so many women say to me, Cheryl, the things that you do, the flying in to support somebody and then flying back out, that doesn't happen that often. And I do it because I make a conscious decision every single day that I want to show up and I want to make a difference in somebody's life, because we never know what that person needs. That may have been the one thing that they needed in order to push them to their next or to sustain them. Koya, I even called a lady one night, and she was heavy on my mind, and she said to me, and I'll never forget it, she said, I'm so glad you called me. She said, this call helped me from ending my life. She said, I was sitting here writing a note to let everybody know why I had decided to do that. And she said, and the fact that you called me for no reason other than to just let me know that you saw me and that you love me, she said, that sustained me. And right now to this day, she's living, she's thriving, she's doing well. And I just think about all the opportunities that we miss as sisters.
Right.
Just to say, I see you, it's free.
Right.
Nobody is asking for a check. It's just a sister who you can say, hey, I love your hair.
Yes.
I love your shoes. Or just to stand there and look her eye to eye and ask her how she's doing and stand there and wait for the answer instead of looking to see who is the next person to come to the door, who you may deem is more beneficial to get you to your next, instead of paying attention to that sister that's right there in your now.
Right.
Many times we miss our next, not focus on the sister who is there right now.
That part. I mean, that is so powerful, because I think everyone wants to grow and expand.
Right.
And I think Issa Rae said this, like, look at your peers.
Yes.
Look at those people
She sure
around
did.
you
Yes.
that are just right there. And they have the time and energy. You're trying to get this person, see me, see me, see me.
Yes.
And there's a brother or sister right there that sees you,
Yes.
that loves you and adores you.
Yes.
And you might not think they're good enough, but you have to give them the opportunity, and y'all can grow together. But that's why it's so important, like you said, not looking for the next person to walk into the door, and not looking for that person that might be 10 steps ahead.
Absolutely.
How about that person that's like 2 steps ahead or right beside you?
Absolutely.
Or maybe even like don't even know as much as you know, and maybe you can support each other. Because I'll say my business has grown because I humbled myself.
Yes.
I remember I was at Agape Spiritual Center, and I was walking out of church with this young lady, and she was looking for a mentor. I was looking for an assistant. And guess what? That's how I took my company to the next level. I became her mentor. She became my assistant. Now she has a full, thriving community, making an abundance, supporting, like impacting in a big way. You know, but it started with us both being vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And saying, I need help, I need support, and I need sisterhood. And it was so beautiful. A year ago, we did our first paid campaign together. Because she was like, I want to do brand deals. I want to,
Wow.
build my community. And I was like, I got you. I'll show you everything that I know. I'll tell you everything that I've done. And so this company reached out to me. They're like, do you have someone in your community that you've grown? I was like, I know the exact person. And it was just such a full circle moment.
Absolutely.
Because we live in different places, of me just like really just praising her for, I kept up through Instagram, even though there's a lot of
Absolutely.
darkness. The light is being able to see people's journey as they grow and expand. And so being able to in person honor her, and then also do something together now that she had grown and is expressing her full potential was nothing but beautiful. But sometimes you don't get that far because there's a lot of steps in between. Just like a relationship, there's going to be some hiccups.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some times, like we talk about healthy boundaries, we have to cut people out, but sometimes you can work on something. When someone makes a mistake, when someone's willing to apologize, when someone sees like, you know what,
Yes.
I hurt you and I'm sorry, So have you dealt with like some relationships with women to where you have been able to mend maybe a broken heart or something that happened and your relationship got stronger?
Actually, I'm working with someone now that I rehired them. And it was a full circle moment. So I will say publicly right now, I pray that I'm not sorry
Yes.
about that. But I work with someone in a branding, PR capacity. And I just felt like I was out booking them.
Yeah.
I'm just being candid. And that's something that we have to be honest with whomever it is that we work with and say, look, this is not working. You're the PR person, but I'm out booking you. What am I doing here?
Right.
And so we ended up parting ways, and 3 years passed, and I heard her on TV one night. And I heard the Holy Spirit say, reach out to her. And so I reached out to her. And I said, hey, congratulations. I just saw you on NBC. I said, are you interested in rectifying the situation that happened between us a few years ago? And 15 seconds later, she responded and she said, all this time, I've always wanted to reach back out to you to apologize to you and tell you I was sorry for how I did not deliver on what I was invoicing you for every month. I want to take care of that. And so that same week, she ended up getting me booked on 3 national TV spots.
Wow. Okay.
So that forgiveness, and this is what I want to be clear on too. Even though she knew she wronged me,
yes,
I never said anything about her on social media. I never dogged her out to anybody.
Right.
And the reason why is because I will never do something that I don't want done to me.
Right.
Because once you do something and you say something publicly, that's what people remember. I don't care how great the person is. But once you say something negative publicly, that's the thing that people remember.
Yes.
So for me, forgiving her, moving on, not dogging her out, that's what got us in a rehiring situation right now. So some situations, I think that you can forgive and work together again. But I think some situations you forgive and you let go, because forgiveness, what I've realized, forgiveness is for me.
Right.
It's not necessarily for the person, because sometimes people don't feel like they did anything wrong.
Right, that
Right,
part.
right.
Right. And that's something else. That's a whole nother topic. But I love how you reached out and said, hey, I want to rectify that. And her response was like, I wanted to apologize.
Yes.
So that's how you know, if she was like, yeah, I couldn't believe you. And, you know, that might have been a whole nother conversation.
It would have been.
You know?
Yeah.
So I love how you both were humble. You both were like, you know what? Yeah, you know, that wasn't in alignment. That wasn't done properly. And I love that you also listen to the voice, right? You listen to your intuition. You listen to the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely.
And followed that divine guidance to guide you into this relationship that was good for you and her.
Yes.
And I love that you told that story, because a lot of times if we listen to that message,
Yes.
to that divine voice
Yes.
that we all have.
Yes.
Even when like, her?
Yeah.
Well, she didn't know what she said she was gonna do. Well, ain't nobody perfect, you know? And then you were
That
able
part.
to open up and see,
Yes.
is this person now in alignment? Because then it wasn't. And you did what you were supposed to do,
Absolutely.
because, hey, this is not in alignment, this is not. So you honored that, and then it came back up. And that's what I mean when I said a season, because for that season, it wasn't working. But it sounds like it's working now,
Right.
for as long as it's meant to work. And I love that, because it honors the fact that there's a reason, a season, and a time for everything. You don't
yes.
have to force anything if
No.
it's not working at a certain time.
No.
What's meant to be will be. And you are just the epitome of that. So thank you.
I appreciate
And
you.
I want to talk to you a little bit about entrepreneurship, because you are quite the entrepreneur. Let's talk about the films, the magazines, the books. This is number 19? Did I get that
19,
right?
yes.
And you're working on 20.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about what entrepreneurship means to you and what really inspires you to go as hard as you go in the paint, to bring some basketball terms in.
So I'm actually, most people don't know this, but I'm a 3rd generation entrepreneur. So that's why I laugh when people say, oh, well, where have you been? I'm like,
It's in your blood.
it's in my blood.
Yeah.
My dad and his company is 52 years old. So growing up, my parents always taught me that I can do anything, and I believed it. I never was that person that didn't believe that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I always believed whatever I set my mind to that I could do. So therein lies the film. I've never been to film school. I was a criminal justice pre-law major, but after the books, it just this bug bit me, and I went one day and I looked up and I said, well, how does Oprah Winfrey title herself? And if you look it up, it says Global Media Executive. So I said, oh, that's what I'm going to be. So I wrote down Global Media Executive. So I started with the books, and then I moved into stage plays. And actually, ironically, the same thing happened with the stage play. As soon as it got successful, the sister that I was doing business with decided that she didn't need me anymore. She could just run off with it. So that happened. But know what I realized? I wasn't supposed to do that stage play anymore. The only reason God entrusted me to do it that one time is he wanted to see if I was going to do it, not knowing how it was going to turn out. Right. So since I wasn't working on the stage play, this film opportunity opened up, and my girlfriend who lives here in Atlanta, she was working on a film, and she called me and she said, would you be willing to be a production assistant? I didn't really know what that was. So I looked it up and I said, oh, I serve coffee. I said, okay, I'll do that. But mind you, I own businesses. Right. So when you talk about humility, what we were just talking about, I said, absolutely, I'll serve coffee, I'll serve whatever, because it was my road in. Right. And that's the message to people. Be willing to serve coffee no matter what level you're at, and it'll open the door. So because I did that one film and it was successful, someone in the audience who was from Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority saw it. Right. And then they got us in contact with the decision makers, and they hired us to produce the film. So that's how I became an executive producer, which made me an HBO Max award-winning executive producer. And I'll say again, someone with no film experience. Wow. But see, I believed I could do it because that's what my parents taught me. Right. So I've done books, the 19 books, the 3 stage plays. We have 2 in the works right now. One is for Colored Girls, which is June the 8th. The other one is Deadly Sins, which is August the 17th in Dallas. And then I have Cheryl Magazine. And the reason that I can do all of these things is because I'm very intentional about my yes. I'm very intentional about how I show up, why I show up, and who I show up for. So the magazine actually came about in the middle of the pandemic. A lot of people don't know that either. When people were shutting down, I decided that it was time for me to be a part of the Goldman Sachs Small Business Program. And Goldman Sachs said, what is your stretch goal? And I knew I had an 11-page newsletter. So we turned the magazine, the newsletter, into a magazine. That magazine will be 4 years old in 2025. And we've had Tabitha Brown on the cover, Niecy Nash, Kim Fields, Kim Tolbert, who just became the city manager for Dallas, Stevie Swain. And it's because of that entrepreneurial spirit. I truly believe that there is nothing that I can't do. And because I am an entrepreneur, it places me in position to hire my sisters who may have given up on themselves, on their writing, on their producing, on whatever that is. I provide them a safe space and place to have their wildest dreams come true.
That's beautiful, incredible, phenomenal woman. You know, you can have me spitting poetry.
That's me.
That's you. That's really incredible. And I love that. And on top of that, you are a wife and a mother.
I am. 32 years in July.
32 years. Yeah. Wow. So how have you been
kids.
able to, I know people like, well, wow, that's a lot. Is it only her? How are you able to, just really be there for your husband and your children while prioritizing your dream and your vision and your passions for yourself?
This statement will sum it up. I don't want to leave this world having lived so deeply in other people's dreams that I've never fulfilled any of my own. And my husband and my children, they know that. So I spent the first 20 to 25 years of my marriage pushing, promoting, showing up, being that great wife, showing corporate America that my husband is promotable because he has a woman behind him, beside him, that will show up in excellence so they can keep promoting him.
Wow.
And so my children, I poured on, served, loved, basketball, football, whatever it is, mama was there. So over these past 10 years, we have transitioned a bit. My husband, he'll travel with me when he can. My children, we have group texts. We talk every day. I'm blessed because we had our children early. So my son is 30 and I have 2 grandkids and a daughter-in-law. And then I have we have a 26-year-old and a 23-year-old. But I'll tell you, the beauty of raising those kids is because they know that anything and everything is possible, because from the time that they were in my womb, I spoke life and affirmations over them. So they know that I have to do this thing that's burning inside me. They know that I want them to be their best self, so they want that for me, and my husband as well. When nobody else is telling me, you go girl, he's telling me, you go girl. When other people are saying, no girl, he's saying, you go girl. So we're able to maneuver this life because he understands that I have a dream and a purpose, and he has a dream and a purpose. And we're better for each other when we both can know that at the end of the day, we have both fulfilled our dream and our purpose in this life.
Yes. Oh, that is just so beautiful. Which brings us back to the affirmations and how powerful it is. You said from the womb to their age now, you're affirming.
Yes.
And how the energy of affirmations, and you have so many 365 days where people can tap in to some of your favorite affirmations that God has given you. And so y'all, I highly recommend checking out this book and being ready for the one to come.
Yes.
Because I truly believe in affirmations as well. And even when you're feeling down and feeling low, if you affirm yourself, you can pull yourself out of that dark time.
It's the truth.
Thank you so much for the affirmations, for the inspiration, for just being a beautiful emanation of the divine, like just sitting here in front of me. And one thing I wanted to ask you about is, if you could change anything about your life, what would it be?
It would be the time that it took for me to realize that I am enough, I am worthy, and that I matter.
That's so powerful, because so often when we feel like that, we know it's not in alignment with our true self, so it can hold us back.
Absolutely.
That is so beautiful. And if this world could be your world, like if you can wave a wand and things would be different, how would the world look in Cheryl's world?
Right now, what I want most is to be in position to travel the world gifting people anonymously. I don't want any thank yous. I want to see a need and fill it. I want to see an article in the newspaper and go and fill it. I want to be that filler. I want to be that person to let someone else know that they matter, that they are worthy, and that they are enough. That's a perfect world for me, to fill in when somebody needs to feel that.
That's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much. It's just been such a gift to have you in my home, to have you bring your light into my life, just how much you have inspired me by your words, your essence, everything that you are. Just thank you for being a beautiful way God is happening on this planet. I honor you. I value you. You are a phenomenal woman. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Lifestyle Design Podcast. I am so grateful you are here. I am here because you are supporting me with your comments, with your feedback. So if there's anything that resonated with you, let us know. Reach out to us on social media, DM us, let us know what resonated with you. And I would love for you to leave a review for the podcast. Let me know what you loved. And if you have some constructive feedback, I would love to hear it. Email me at koya@koyawebb.com. Until next time, love yourself, love others, and love the world. One day at a time, one breath at a time. Peace and love.